The first thing that came to mind when this fight was announced was why. Although I love both fighters and love to watch them fight, this fight makes no sense to me. Dustin is 2-0 against Max, and he's retiring after this fight. Max is not looking to retire. In fact, he's looking to put together a title run at 155. So again, why are they making this fight? It makes no sense. Dustin's last fight should have been the rubber match against Justin Gaethje, who's also on the way out. He himself stated he wanted Justin Gaethje, but the UFC gave him Max Holloway. My guess is the UFC can't have a pay-per-view without a belt on the line if it's not Conor McGregor. And I guess it doesn't make sense to have a BMF title fight between Dustin and Justin because, as we all know, Max Holloway slept Justin Gaethje for the BMF title fight at UFC 300. Anyways, that's enough ranting from me. The fight's this weekend, and I'm starting to get excited. UFC 318, New Orleans. Dustin the Diamond Poirier versus Max Blessed Holloway. The trilogy fight that no one asked for. It's not just another scrap. This one's soaked in history, emotion, and legacy. Poirier is walking into his final UFC fight in front of his home crowd, trying to go out with one last bang. Meanwhile, Max Holloway wants revenge. He's 0-2 against Dustin, but he's not the same kid he was back in 2012 or even 2019. Let's break this one down. Styles, weaknesses, fight IQ, and that final prediction. Before though, I'm going to play a Dustin Poirier training arc montage because this is his last fight, so enjoy. Psych, we ain't got time for that. Let's go into the breakdown. Dustin is the type of fighter that always ends up in a war. When was the last time you saw Poirier go out and dominate by either getting a quick finish or absolutely demolishing someone and outclassing them? Never. He usually ends up in competitive back and forth fights where he seems to be the one to come out on top in most of them. This trilogy will be the same. Poirier's biggest asset is his inner dog. Dustin Poirier is a dog. He's got some of the cleanest boxing in the UFC. He's durable and he's been in there with the best of the best. He's fought everyone. Conor 3 times, Gaethje twice, Oliveira, Khabib, Islam, and yes, Max Holloway twice. He's seen everything the UFC can throw at him and he's still standing. Not many guys can say that. But this time he's got more than just a fight on his plate. He's got emotion. He's talked about this being the last one. The final ride. The last hurrah. And yeah, it's a beautiful storyline. Fighting at home in Louisiana, in front of family, fans, everything. But here's the thing, you guys. When emotion gets heavy, the fight gets harder. Just ask Cody Garbrandt. Dustin will come out sharp, no doubt. His jab's on point, his counters are crisp. And if Max walks in with his chin high, Dustin will touch it. But this isn't 2019. Dustin's had wars since then. Wars that take pieces off a fighter. He still hits hard. But the question isn't whether he can land, it's whether he can keep up. He looks like he's in phenomenal shape, and judging from his last fight, I don't think he's washed. Now, Max Holloway, this version of him is dangerous. Not just because he's the BMF champion, not just because he knocked out Justin Gaethje with 1 second left in a fight he was already winning, but because he's leveled up mentally. That Poirier knockout, sure, it raised some questions, it did. But Max is the kind of guy who takes a loss and comes back sharper. He's been in 28 UFC fights and he's evolved every time. We know what Max brings. Volume, cardio, pressure. He doesn't stop moving, doesn't stop throwing. But what's different now is the pop in his shots. His placement, his ability to sneak in elbows, body shots, and jumping back kicks at just the right moment. It's matured. His striking is more surgical than ever. And let's be real, The second Poirier fight was Max on short notice, and that wasn't 155 ready Max Holloway, no. That was a fluffy, flippy, floppy Max Holloway. This time, however, with more power and smarter pacing, he's not just coming to touch Dustin up, he's coming to beat him up. This fight is all about control. Can Dustin land clean and slow Max down? Or can Max drown Dustin in that ocean of pressure? Poirier is the better punch-for-punch power striker, no doubt, but he needs space to work, and Max's game is all about suffocating that space. He walks you down, cuts angles, and starts painting you with volume until you can't see straight. In their last fight, Dustin cracked him early, but had to hold on for dear life in rounds 4 and 5. Max didn't fade, he kept coming. And this time, he's not just coming forward, he's coming smarter. Expect him to work the legs, invest in body shots early, and change levels with his striking. This isn't going to be a one-dimensional Max Holloway, it's going to be the full arsenal. And if Dustin can't hurt him early, the tide's going to turn fast. The most important thing for Poirier is to keep Max at bay and punish him every time he steps into range. Dustin has some elite counters. In their second fight, he was countering Max every single time he tried to get going. He of course knocked out Conor back in 2021, again showcasing his elite counters. And he's got to do the same again to beat Max. To beat Max, you need to stop that snowball effect. He's got to punch with Max to stop Max from turning him into Calvin Kattar. He's also got to mix in the leg kicks to slow down Max's movement, as well as keeping him on the back foot. That's very important when he's pressuring Max. He has to make sure he's cutting off the cage and not following Max. And the shorter the exchanges are with Dustin landing the better shots, the better it will be for him. Again, to summarize, Dustin needs to punish Max in the pocket, use leg kicks, and avoid a high output firefight with extended combinations. We need a clean fight, not a dirty war. For Max, the most important thing is to fight the same fight he did against Justin Gaethje and even Ilya before the knockout, of course. He needs to use his footwork and be either all the way in or all the way out. Volume, pace, movement, and a touch of chaos. Dustin is bullyable, if that's even a word. But what I mean is, if you bring the fight to Dustin, he is there to be hit. Especially if you manage to push him up against the cage, which will happen as it happens in every single one of his fights, like it did in the second fight. Max has to mix it up. Low kicks, teeps, front kicks to the knee, anything to break Dustin's rhythm. And with his newfound power at 155, he should try to sit down on some of those punches just to see Poirier's reaction. Look, I don't think he'll be able to knock out Dustin Poirier with a single punch. However, he can do that with a head kick. Justin Gaethje did that to Poirier not too long ago, and Poirier doesn't have the best head kick defense. He uses a finish out to defend shots, but that makes it hard to block head kicks, and blocking with one hand is a huge risk. So to summarize, Max needs to use his trademark volume, he needs to use movement, head kicks, and a touch of chaos. So here's how I see it. Dustin comes out strong early on, maybe even steals the first 2 rounds, but Max stays composed, starts turning up the pressure in round 3, and by round 5 it's all Holloway. The volume adds up, the body work starts to show, and Dustin, fighting on emotion, starts to slow down just a bit. From there, Max keeps up the brutal pace, and that's the end of the fight. My prediction, Max Holloway to win via unanimous decision. That's how I see it. Max gets one back, cements the trilogy, and sends Dustin into retirement with a hell of a fight. And look, if I'm wrong, I'll be the first to admit it. But something about this just screams Max's time. What do you guys think? Is Dustin going to ride off with the win? Or does Max finally get his redemption? Drop your picks in the comments, hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed as well. That's it from me. If you like the videos and would like to support the channel, you can do that by buying me a coffee with the link in the description. That's it from me, and I'll see you guys after the fight.
Slow